Greetings, it is the mighty master Voluminous' creator here. Before we continue from where we left off all those months ago, I want to give a special congratulations to Mr. Johnny Depp for winning his defamation trial against his ex-wife Amber Heard. So I've been following this story for the last 2, 3 years. I am a fan of Johnny Depp. No, I'm not going to pretend that he's this flawless angel who's never done anything wrong in his life. He's got issues, he's got his demons, and those are his to sort out. And I'm sure now that this case is behind him, he can focus on doing so and getting his career back. What I do know and what I think should not be within any form of question is that he did not deserve what that woman and her friends put him through. He did not deserve to be smeared by the media, and he did not deserve to be blacklisted from Hollywood based on nothing, based on accusations that didn't make sense, based on literal hearsay. She had nothing to verify, she had nothing true, genuine to verify because literally it blew my mind. It blew my mind to see the kind of stuff she was coming up with. Meanwhile, there were audio recordings, there were pictures, there were medical records, there were so many things that just proved that he was the victim in this situation. But for whatever reason, the people whose job it was to present the facts refused to listen to him, refused to put that out there. This trial was literally broadcasted for all the world to see, and still the media was trying to turn it around in her favor. It is disgusting, and I am of the opinion that the institution of journalism needs an overhaul. Yes, this is where I stand. I'm sorry to say, but disappointed some of you. I am in favor of what the Me Too movement was supposed to represent. But innocent until proven guilty should always be the norm, should always be the standard, because the opposite is extremely dangerous. That's how we ended up with witch hunts. That's how we ended up with lynchings. It's crazy how a country like America, with its history of those two things, doesn't take false accusations more seriously. But bearing that, you should also be aware of narcissists and manipulative people. No one's above being taken advantage of. No one. Funny enough, the verdict the verdict came down on Narcissistic Awareness Day. So, if you ever needed proof that there is a God or some higher power out there that is aware of the universe and puts things in motion, there it is. All right. With regards to the podcast, I've been very busy with my honors program, assignments, work, all kinds of things, new books that I'm trying to work on, and other projects relating to the realm of Mortiferous Arcadia. So I can't promise that I'll be as regular as I used to be, but I will try to upload as many times as I can so we can get back on track and we can get into the real meat of Vatour, the Feel Free to Die. We got 2 news reports today within the book and one more next week, and then afterwards we can properly get into the story itself. So I hope you enjoy it. Also, sorry, one more thing regarding the whole Depp versus Heard situation. Since I started this podcast regarding the evil spirit that is Pinky that targets people in abusive relationships, women specifically, um, it shouldn't be said, but I'm going to say it again for those who need to hear it. Men can be abused. Men can be victims. Women can be perpetrators of abuse and other forms of violence and evil. Abuse has no gender criteria or specificity or whatever we want to call it. Call it out whenever it is known. All right. Now we get into the proper podcast. Sorry, I don't like to do this kind of thing on this podcast, but I just felt like it needed to be said. Greetings, listeners. I am the mighty Master Voluminous, teacher, commentator, and most importantly to you, storyteller. It's been too long, my acolytes. I could tell you what I've been doing, but I'm the mighty Master Voluminous, and I answer to none but the Father. I'm kidding. In the last episode, Vatour had killed a drug dealer, Fred Newman. In chapters 7 and 8, the vigilantes attacked weapons dealer Lorenzo Altera and Maria Paríso of the Paríso Foundation for Children. This should be interesting. Also, for those of you who are unaware, Vatour Feel Free to Die is available on Amazon and Take a Lot for any South African listeners. On to the story. Chapter 7, The News, Gunsmith. This is Brian Becker on How Now with breaking news. Another group of criminals turn up dead. This time it's the gang called Blast, a group who police had been suspecting of dealing illegal weaponry in Airy Hill, a district in southwest Scotch. Police had found the bodies of the victims in several alleyways and safe houses. In what some are calling poetic justice, all of them had been shot. As is the pattern with most of these attacks, the most brutal, strange, and horrific of deaths was saved for the leader of the gang, Lorenzo Altera, known to many in the law enforcement and criminal communities as the Gunsmith. The police report states that Altera's limbs had been shot off by .22 caliber bullets. The autopsy states that several bullets of the same kind were found in Altera's nostrils, esophagus, trachea, and eye sockets. Forensics suggest that Altera had either bled to death internally and or externally, or suffocated. Just like all the other cases, a single black feather was found, tied to the handgun used to shoot off Altera's limbs, which police say were dropped off at their doorstep in the middle of the night. Could this simply be a rival gang making a name for themselves? Or do we have a ruthless vigilante on our hands? Time will tell. This has been Brian Becker on How Now, returning to you at the top of the hour. Got any comments about the episode? You'd like to get in touch? Or maybe you have a book of your own, a story of your own to tell, but you don't know how to tell it, and you would like the mighty Master Voluminous to give you a platform. I am a generous kind. You can send me a voice message. The link will be in the description, or you can email me at mortiferousarcadia@gmail.com. That's MORTIFEROUS at gmail.com. Now, on to the next. Chapter 8, The News, Maria Paríso. Hello and welcome to this edition of Wake Up Call. I am Adaira Jenkins bringing you our top story this hour. Paríso Orphanage is the scene of the latest murders by the Blackfeather Killer. Maria Paríso, founder and owner of said orphanage, beloved by many in the community, was found in her reception of the building, dead. Officer Stephanie Gavers was available for comment. Our office was phoned at 0100 hours, retorting an attack on the orphanage. We arrived in under 15 minutes. The woman's body was simply lying there, meters from the front door. A source within the SCPD informed us that they had been investigating Paríso under suspicion that she was trafficking the orphan children in her care. While we are not aware that any such evidence was found, the source had informed us that Paríso's internal organs had been placed in a jar that the police had found on the reception table. It should be noted that the harvesting of organs is not uncommon in various human trafficking circuits, which would mean that the killer was punishing Miss Paríso for her alleged crimes. The killer's trademark feather was placed next to the jar. This is Adaira Jenkins, signing off. And please, stay safe. weapons dealer. You expect as much. Seemed a bit excessive to blow his limbs off and then shove the bullets into like every hole available, except for the rear hole. I guess he had that measure of class to him. Although didn't he comb the hair of that one guy he decapitated? Oh well. What I find interesting is this Paríso lady. She owns an orphanage, but they suspected her of trafficking children. That is an interesting thing to think about. The city of Scotch, it is ruled by its criminal class. I think it's safe to say that nobody can be trusted. And if they can, it's probably because they've been getting their ass kicked one too many times. Who knows? I very much look forward to seeing what happens next. I mean, I already know. So you should look forward to it. See you next time, listeners. It's been so long, I completely forgot to do the evil laugh.